This morning, Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General. Earlier this week, she was by President Trump's side when he made the unprecedented move to attend the Supreme Court hearing. But on Thursday, the president posting, "We love Pam. She'll be transitioning to a new job in the private sector," where Bondi says she's thrilled to continue fighting for President Trump. Two sources familiar with the matter telling NBC News Trump and Bondi had a heated confrontation at the White House last week, although the sources did not specify what it was about. Replacing her for now, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who once served as the president's personal defense lawyer during his hush money trial in New York. Bondi's a former Florida Attorney General who served on President Trump's defense team during his first impeachment trial.
So help me God.
As the U.S. Attorney General, she was a lightning rod.
You don't tell me anything.
I did tell you.
Repeatedly clashing with Democrats, but drawing praise from the president.
She's going to go down as a great Attorney General. I may change my mind about that.
Still, last September, the president posted publicly on social media what an administration official says was intended to be a direct message to Bondi, pressuring her to prosecute his political opponents.
I'm looking at Pam because I hope something's going to be done about it.
She drew criticism from across the political spectrum for her handling of the Epstein files, including from inside the White House. Chief of Staff Susie Wiles telling Vanity Fair back in December that Bondi, quote, whiffed the release. At one point, Bondi claimed the DOJ had the late sex offender's client list.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But later, reversing course.
Our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list.
Congress recently subpoenaed Bondi to testify about the Epstein investigation.
We've got to ensure that the truth with this investigation still gets out.
The family of Epstein accuser, the late Virginia Giuffre, writing in a statement, "We hope she has the courage to testify and actually do right by survivors this time."
There was also significant shakeup at the Pentagon overnight. 3 U.S. officials tell NBC News that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth just fired 3 Army generals. Among them, Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, who had been a top advisor to Biden Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Craig.
Gabe Gutierrez starting us off there at the White House. Gabe, thank you. For more now on the cabinet shakeup and the impact, reaction, let's bring in Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. Kristen, good morning to you. So, Kristen, I mean, Pam Bondi, by all accounts, was pretty loyal to the president, went after his perceived political enemies from time to time. She was even at the White House the night before the announcement came out. What do we know about what finally tipped the scales?
Well, Craig, look, based on my conversations and NBC's reporting, President Trump's frustration with Attorney General Pam Bondi had been building over time, but in recent months really centered around 2 main flashpoints. Her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. There was this perception that she was responsible for a series of missteps, and her inability to effectively prosecute his perceived political enemies, like former FBI Director James Comey. Now, Craig, look, we have to note, it's hard to know if anyone else would have been more effective given the constraints of the law. Bondi was deeply loyal, though, to Trump, and it's clear that just wasn't enough to save her job. The fact that she's now been ousted just weeks after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Craig, raises some real questions about whether others in the administration could be next. So that's part of what we'll be watching for here.
Kristen, the number 2 at DOJ, Todd Blanche, is now going to be the acting attorney general, someone you've interviewed before. Any sense that he might actually get the top job? And if not, who?
Laura, great question. Look, Blanche is absolutely one of the names we are hearing who could be a replacement. He's incredibly loyal to the president, having served as his personal attorney. He's also, it's worth noting, been the public face of the Department of Justice on some of the thorniest issues, from the Epstein files to questions surrounding ICE enforcement in Minneapolis. Now, another person the president is eyeing for the job, according to sources familiar with his thinking, the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin. Mr. Trump has referred to him as the administration's secret weapon. In fact, Zeldin is an Army veteran with a background in law and crisis management, actually. But let's just back up. Whoever the president picks will undoubtedly be someone who will aggressively pursue prosecutions against his biggest rivals and also navigate the complicated legal issues hanging over the White House right now. Not surprisingly, Republicans, including some I've spoken to, are hoping to move quickly to confirm whomever President Trump nominates for this post. Lauren, Craig.
All right. Kristen Welker. Kristen, thank you. We know you'll have the very latest this Sunday on that and much more, because if it is Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.